Oh, there we go. How's that? Audio. Sorry about that. I keep forgetting about clicking that damn button. But anyways, again, welcome to the chat. I was just getting bored, just had to check in. I haven't done videos lately, so and sorry about my voice. I have to see a doctor about that. I don't know why my voice is still out. But glad to see you guys on board. Lawrence Kibler, Susan Essley Aquatics, Dormscape, Fish Tropics, Fancy Tail Aquatics. Welcome, welcome. Don Gallagher. Good to see you guys. Hopefully you guys can hear me now. Again, just wanted to check in. All right, cool. Terra Guy TX, how you doing? Leo Lamb, how you doing? Good to see you. Again, my voice is really messed up. I don't know what happened to him. Something to do when I was sick. And yeah, I've been super busy lately. The reason why I haven't been doing videos mainly was because lots of work. And mainly I'm shoving a lot of work done because so I get a lot more money so I could get to Aquashella in next week. I think that's when it is. Yeah, so it's coming pretty soon. But there's just a lot going on too with the work life. Possible new job, or stick with this new job. I don't know. Stick with the current job, or go with the new job. Lots of cons and cons and pros to it. You know, it's like the current job wants to keep me, so I got a big raise. But then the other job is really good, and I'm gonna have a lot more time to do stuff like YouTube videos for you guys and stuff like that. So that's gonna be cool too. So I don't know, but fortunately the new job. Well, I don't know if it's fortunately or unfortunate, because the new job means I might be moving to the East Coast, like probably North Carolina. That's where we're looking at, anyways. It has to deal with the friend and his company, anyway. And that we want to get out of California because it's so damn expensive here, and it's a little blue state. We want to move to a more like red state, I guess, kind of thing. I don't know. That's a political thing, but that's really nothing more than we really need to talk about there. But yeah, Mr. Grinch too. Welcome to the live chat. Love my videos. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoy it. I'm glad people enjoy it. At least it makes me feel like I'm not doing it for nothing. But yeah, I've been really laxed on it, which is kind of weird. I guess the last video I did was the live chat. Was it live chat? Whatever. I don't remember. It was like 3 weeks ago. And then before that was like 2 weeks. Before that, I actually did any videos. So here's a strange thing. I haven't been doing much videos, but my channel's been growing from 700 subscribers every 28 days to 1,200 subscribers every 28 days, and it keeps going and keeps going. So I think one of my videos caught on the algorithm because it like jumped in stats. So I got tons of more viewers, subscribers too. So I don't know if I'm going to catch them here, but if you're new to this channel, thank you for subscribing. Really appreciate you guys. But anyways, if you guys have any questions or anything, hit them on. No, not Charlotte. I'll be at Raleigh. That's what we're looking at. If we want to move, it's going to be at North Carolina, Raleigh. So I got to check that. Check that out. So yeah. Again, tons of stuff going on. I just don't know what I want to do at this point because this current job really wants me to stay with them, but then I'm out in California, and it's one of those things. You know, left or right, whatever. New job, then I'll be able to do a lot more things. I have a lot more time for my channel. It was going to be a little bit more than what I was going to make on the new job, but now in this current job, since I got, they want to keep me here and give me a big raise, I'm going to make more here if I stay here. But I'm going to be spending more if I stay in California. So there's that thing, right? But then if I stay with this job, I'm going to be on the same schedule where I wish I had more time to do videos. Whereas my other job, I only had lots of time to do videos. It's one of those things. So I just don't know which way to go. It's one of those, I got to figure it all out when it happens, when it hits kind of thing. Welcome Aquapenics and welcome Petsotics. How you guys doing? Leo Lamb, yes, I live in California, at LA right now, currently. It's alright, it's just very California, and I've been here for a long time, so, it's just one of those things where, it never rains. I kind of like rain, so I don't know what I'm doing in Southern California. It's expensive heck to live here, and there's other places that are pretty good to live at that doesn't cost an arm and a leg to live in. Can't afford a house here. No way. So, it's one of those things. Matt's Monster Fish, how you doing? What's up, buddy? Salty Reef, welcome. Oh, man, my voice is still messed up. And I'm here doing a live chat, so, yeah. Past the dirt road. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I did a live stream now, because I know you can make it this time. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, and the other thing too is, if I do move to North Carolina, which is weird, I actually have lots of friends in North Carolina or on the East Coast. So if I move there, it's not like I'm gonna actually have a lot more people to hang around with if I do move to the East Coast. And you guys are just so much closer together. I could drive up to New York in what is it, 10 hours, 13 hours, something like that. I could drive around everywhere else in fraction of the time. 5 hours, whatever. Like in California, it's a 5-hour drive just to go up north to California. Whereas I just go to hop 2 different states in 5 hours. So, that's a lot, another more of those things is that a lot of the fish keeping stuff's on the East Coast too. A lot of the tabletop one's on the East Coast. Everything's on the East Coast. So weird. So, oh, you live near L.A., Leo? Where do you live at, Leo Lam? You need 10 roommates. I cannot handle roommates. I am a very, very personal, I'm a very private person, so roommates will drive me nuts. So, Carson, California. I'm not really entirely sure where that Carson is. Arizona's alright, but it's like Southern California to Arizona. It's like not much of a change there, I don't think. Arizona's so dry. Stormscape has I have been looking for par ratings for the Twin Star 600 EA. Can't find it on YouTube. Do you have any experience with this light? No, I don't, unfortunately. Nothing on Twin Stars, mainly because there's just other lighting kits out there that are cheaper and it does the same type of job. So I usually stick with the more medium type of thing, medium costing light kits. Even going down to just floodlights and grow lights kind of kits that you can find on Amazon really cheap. And they work just as good, It just doesn't look as good or whatever. You have to rig up the rigging and stuff. But a lot of times, you guys will find me going for the cheaper option because just because it's cheap doesn't mean that it doesn't work. A lot of times when you buy the more expensive options, it's more like, buying a very expensive car. It'll still get you there. It's just that it's just much more comfortable, but much more snazzy kind of way. When you get to the point where you're paying the extra for just the the nice little options rather than the functionality of something. It's not like if I didn't have the money, I wouldn't mind buying the more expensive stuff. But why when you don't have, when you want to save on the money? And it's just I could find more ways to spend my money than buying something expensive. So, that's one thing you got to keep in mind. And a lot of people in this hobby always keeps in mind that, they can't spend all that money on just some one particular thing on a fish tank. When you could get away with, with the same thing for half as less. And it happens. You can't blame them. Really can't blame anyone. You got to go with your budget sometimes. Hey, learning to keep fish. Glad to see you on board. Santa Barbara, California. Petsotics was in. Nice. Raised in the Chicago area. Ooh, must be cold. It's heck there. I used to go to Chicago a lot because one of the tabletop conventions, big ones, are over there, and my sponsor for the tabletop gaming is based off of Chicago, so I go there up there a lot. Oh, Lil Lamb, you're down in Garden Grove. That's not far at all. Nice. Fancy Tail Quad. Yeah, I'm very introvert, but I'm an extrovert when I have to flick on the switch and, talk to people and, do the whole YouTube thing. I have that ability to do that. But usually I like being alone. I like it quiet. I like, digging into it and stuff like that. It kind of fits. I'm a programmer, so I like sitting here, putting on my headsets, listening to music or podcasts, and just pound down code and stuff. It's just the best way to do it for me. Indiana, I go there a lot for Gen Con. Oh, I used to when I was running my tabletop channel. Indiana's pretty cool. Can't stand Colorado. I mean, I stopped by Denver because I have friends in Denver, but it's so flat. It's all right. It's not bad, but it's not someplace I would want to live. I mean, I visited there. That's more than enough for me, I guess. But it just seems so middle of the U.S. kind of thing. The Twin Star 600 EA for the same price as the Fluvo 3.0. Really? Oh, I gotta check that out. It's the same thing I'm thinking about, right? Twin Star from whatchamacallit, ADA, or are we talking about something else? Yeah, I don't know. Cheap light will work the same way again. Again, just go with it. We go for it. But I haven't tried out the Twin Star 600 EA though. But I'll look into it. Oh, there you go. ZX Billy says he has a Twin Star 600E and have measured the par from a 40 centimeter high tank. It's 50 par in the corners. So that's pretty decent. Well, I don't know how much is 40 centimeters. Sorry, I'm in the U.S., so 15 inches. Oh, that's okay. It's not bad. Moderate lighting, about. $125 low light plants. Figure would you always will use the 650K T8 fluorescent goods? Yeah, I mean that's low light. It's not bad. I mean, if you want more power, I go with T5s. Nowadays, LEDs will work decently. I don't know exactly what you look for. I know one company contacted me. I don't know if you guys know this company, but shoot, I don't know where it's at. Let me see if I can find it. They want me to check out the light. It's like a $700 light setup. I'm not entirely sure I want to do that. I'm a little stickler when it comes to people wanting to send me stuff to review for their company. What is it? See, I'm opening it right now. Yes, this one here, the Atlantic V4 Planet Fresh Water Aquarium LED. They want me to check this out for them. I don't know, sent me email. I don't know, I haven't replied back yet. I mean, it looks like, I don't know. I look at the website, I'm a little skeptic. But apparently, both Reef Tank or whatever has them in stock and stuff like that. So, I don't know, it might be worth checking out. Yeah, again, it's one of those things where I'm not, when you take in the product, you gotta, actually, talk about it and do it and stuff like that. Otherwise, you look like a jerk. Take the product and not do anything about it, Hey, HBS Aquatics, how you doing? So is Aquafunk finished with his live chat? Yeah, it must be. NY Gold's in here too. Aquaprentis dish is finally done. Yeah. My dishes always pile up. I'm lazy. The Festival of Color Correct? What does that mean? Hey, D's in the house. How you doing, babe? Oh, you have company as well. Okay, no problem. Go be a good host. I'm just sitting there talking to you guys, just hanging for a bit. Wanted to do a video for you guys, and I have a lot of stuff in the tank. Like I went to a meet just like 2 weeks ago, I think it was. I haven't even got that up, and it's a very simple vlog, and I don't know why I'm having trouble finishing it. I should finish it and just release it this weekend so I get some kind of video out. But I'm afraid might be a little boring. I don't know. It's us checking out some couple of fish stores and meeting some of the new people that watch my channel that actually is in Southern California, which is really cool. You know, they're really cool guys. They're a little group that got together as part of the Escape Club. So really should like get that up. Talk to them a little bit more. They invited me to one of their, their meetup get-togethers, but I can't go. My voice is all messed up and ugh. Planning to use it on a 20 long. Have SB Reef on my 35 cube. Like the hard part. Twin Star will fit the tank better though. Oh, I see. SB Reef though, they make some really intense lighting. Twin Star too. I hear they do really good too. So, again, this is all by talk and stuff that I hear about. Is there any advantage to using 4 T5 bulbs compared to Twin Star 60? Well, there's always advantage of using T5 high outputs, assuming you're talking about high outputs, compared to LED, because you get to control the spectrum, you control the intensity and stuff. Lots more customization with the LED, unless you're talking about like something like a Twin Star or a Fluvo 3.0 where you can adjust stuff. You adjust intensity, maybe some of the lighting stuff, but compared to T5, you're going to get a lot more penetration with T5s. Alright? Not only that, you get a lot more customization with T5. They just don't last as long. You're going to have to switch them out more frequently than if you ever need to replace an LED. So again, it's really up to you. I like T5 high outputs. They're really good. It's just costly and you got to replace the bulb often. Sometimes for LEDs, it just does me fine, and I just stick it on there. Really depends on the type of tank you want to go with, you know? Aqua Apprentice, do you keep salt as well? Not anymore. I just have a reef tank. I want to get back into reefing. One of the upcoming projects is 10-gallon reef tank. But again, I have to wait. The problem is I have to put some projects on hold because if I'm going to move, I can't set up tanks right now. This move might happen in, I'll know by May. Then it's going to take a couple months. Probably going to move in the summer, somewhere around there, like kind of that thing, if it happens. So it's only going to be a few months. And then if I want to be in the middle of projects, like dry starting something or, cycling something, I'm going to move by the time it's done cycling. So I might have to wait. It's one of those things. I'm in a waiting staging area right now because of work, so see what happens. Hey Jay, MB, how you doing? Welcome to the chat. ZX Billy, it costs much more to run T5s than compared to LEDs. That's about it. Yes, yeah, it does on the main setup. Depends. But on the main set, usually it does. Even if you go to Home Depot, go to the hydroponic area and buy T5 high output fixtures, it's still going to cost you about $100 for a two bulb fixture. For about $150 to $180 for a 4 bulb fixture. And then you get them like either 2 feet or 4 feet. So again, it depends on your tank on how much it'll cost you to run it. But again, really up to you. Susan, are you going to Aquashell? Yes, I am. That's why I'm working. As I've been doing videos lately, I've been working a lot trying to get a project done so that my current job, she's like, hey, get it done soon. And then, I'll pay you a big chunk of change and whatever, work stuff. So that's why I've been working a lot. So I get funded to go. Know anything about Beanswork Light? Yes, I don't like them. I only don't like them. Well, Beanswork, the high output ones are pretty good. The Beanswork low out one, the really cheap ones, crap. It's crappy. But the high output ones work really well. At least from what I heard. Okay? I have no experience with it, but only because I look at it and go, well, maybe I could just get the same thing just using floodlights, which I can. Again, guys, when you do this, all this stuff, these Planet Tank stuff and everything like that, if you look at someone like Brooklyn Hardscapes, very good aquascaper. He's into all that stuff. Those type of aquascapers, the type of equipment counts for them because they want to make the whole scape look good. You know, I'm the type that will make things look good or trick it to make it look good, right? Because it's just a different way of thinking, you know. So when you look at things like, well, if I take a beanswork light and spend money on that, well, I could get the same effect of just spending on floodlights, because mainly it's all green spectrum that's being outputted. Maybe, okay, do not quote me on that because I have not done any testing on the beanswork light. Okay, then I might just go with that and then mix my floodlights with grow lights, right? Or I just make it simple and buy a beanswork light and just have it run on that. All really depends on people. You know, people, they're like, well, this works better than the other. I go, well, why? It works better for you. It doesn't mean it works better for some people. You know, so when you first get started in, aquascaping and doing planted tanks, you're running on all these things where everyone says this is better than the other, this is better than the other. You don't have to figure out what's better for you first and before going with it. Because there are some things where you look at my tank and they're like, hey, what's that? I see you have a Phoenix, but in the back of this tank, it's all red on this end of it and in the back. What is that? I'm like, well, it's a grow light. It's a little 24-watt flood grow light. He goes, well, why'd you put it there? I go, to grow the crap out of my ARs, because I have my bunch of ARs back there and grow the crap out of it. It doesn't work? Yeah, it works like crazy. It makes them really red, makes them all bushy out and stuff like that. You know, until the stupid freaking dwarf Sag took over and killed all of it. But that's beside the point. But, you know, at the end, they're like, oh, it does work. It just doesn't look good, right? You know, they come over and they're like, well, it looks like you have a floodlight on top of it. Yeah, it just doesn't look good. But if you want to build a hood for it, and then, attach all the lights to it, it'll still look good. You know, it's all up to the person want to use. And honestly, if I want to be lazy, just get the lights that will work. I'll stick with Phoenix Planet Pluses or Fluval 3.0s, just because I already know them. Really no point in getting or trying something different unless I really want to be adventurous at that time. And again, why bother when I can make other things work for half the price by getting flood lamps or something like that? You know, it's so silly to argue about it, and people do it all the time, and I usually just walk away. It's like, I don't have time for you, little silly arguing. You're just arguing for the point of arguing, you know? I replaced my do-it-yourself CO2 with your video that inspired me with Aquatech Mini. Loving it so far. Your videos have been great. Well, thank you. I'm glad the Aquatech Mini is working for you. My Aquatech Mini does work. I just have to fiddle with the needle valve, which a lot of people have the same problems. But once you get it fiddled and figured out, it works fine. But it is a little more expensive. I would throw cheaper options out there nowadays. Any thoughts on why the unburied rhizome of a Anubias plant would get soft and spongy and melt? It's not liking something. Assuming that you're not burying it and it's just getting soft and spongy and melting, means that it's dying for some reason. You're not giving it enough nutrients. Something's wrong with the water. Something like that. There's something wrong with the Anubias that just doesn't like the parameters of your tank. When rhizomes like that get soft and spongy and just tears apart, it means it's just dead. It could be a disease. That too, you know. So don't discount that. You might just have to pull them out and just start with a whole new set of Anubias. Petuncha, welcome to the chat. I'm glad my videos helped you out. Yeah. If you have any questions, just ask them here. Damian Markham, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to the chat. Aqua Apprentice, yes, D5 also put out a lot more heat and uses a lot more energy, but it's also a lot more intense in most cases. And it penetrates a little better than LEDs. ZX Billy, I have a twin star, but in all, it's better than any cheaper LED lights, mostly an aesthetic thing. You see, it depends on who you ask. Some people say, oh, twin star is the best thing in the market, better than anything. And then you ask someone else, like Billy here, who says, honestly, they're no better than cheap LED lights. So there you go. It's really all based on someone's experience. And a lot of times, I'm the kind of guy. Hi, Priscilla. Welcome to the chat. I'm the kind of guy. Sorry. My mic is loose. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm the kind of guy that just makes more about efficiency rather than looks. Because I will just make it look better in different ways. Like like building a hood or something, or aesthetically, it's more about the stuff in the tank and not what's outside of the tank, kind of thing, you know. So I'm a very I'm very logical because I'm a programmer, so I'm more tend towards the more efficiency is more better than aesthetics kind of the guy. Damn, your voice. Yeah, I don't know. I have to go see a doctor about it. It started when I got sick a few weeks ago, and it's still going. So, yeah, moving does suck with tanks. I might just clean them all out and just move the tanks and start all over if I ever move. You know, if I do move. So, hey Ryan KB, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Thanks, Priscilla, for the pimp on the shirts. No one buys them. I need to make new shirts. I need to do shirts like Joey does. He did some really cool shirts that came out. I like them. I need to do designer shirts again. I used to do them for my tabletop gaming. I just haven't had time to do it. Hey, me Mugga Quad. It's good to see you on board, buddy. Haven't seen you in a while too. Dallas or Chicago Aquashella? I'm going to the Dallas Aquashella. I'm not sure about the Chicago Aquashella yet. That one is a little hard because it's in between. If I can go during that time, I have the money to go. I have to pick between Aquashella or what's the other one? Not the big fish deal, but the other big one. I can't think of it for some reason right now. That's assuming that I don't switch jobs. If I switch jobs, then I'm most likely to be able to go to both. So that's the good thing. If I switch jobs, I'll have a lot of time to do a lot of things I want to do. Aqua Apprentice loves beamwork. There's another guy who's eight. I personally don't like beamworks, but that's me. And I try not to tell people that I don't like certain things unless I have a reason not to. Like beamwork, I like the high output stuff. They seem to work well, and the people that I saw using it when I went into their house seemed to be nice and sturdy. But I got the cheap beamwork models. Man, that's just crap. But you know, it's the cheap beamwork model, so I would not suggest getting the cheap stuff. Hey, Shishi, good to see you. Welcome to the chat, Tap Hazol J4. Good to see you. Tazhazo wants to thank me for the video on CO2. I'm glad it helped. Always good to hear that. Yes, damn George Sag. I hate that stuff. Man, you guys, I don't know, you guys might have seen my tank. So I have to take a picture of it. I don't know why I keep not wanting to take a picture of it. See ya, Susan. Thank you for dropping by. But it is overgrown with George Sag. I hate that stuff. So, yeah, you know, Ryan, you keep talking about the Cheros. I have to look those up. See how well they work. They're cheap, so I'm going to see how much they measure. One of those things is coming over your place and maybe measure it, hopefully, maybe. I just have to find time to do it. Full spectrum so it looks pink. It doesn't. Full spectrum doesn't mean it looks pink. Full spectrum is different from the actual color temperature. You're thinking color temperature. It looks pink because the color temperature is pink, right? You could get full spectrum with the color temperature that's around 65K. 7K will make it look cooler, so it won't look pink. So remember, keep that distinction distinct. You got spectrum, and you got color temperature. They're two different things. Fish fam is the best hobby. All right, Leo Lamb, take it easy. Have a good one. Glad to have you on board. Uh-oh. My chat thingy froze when he does that. What is this? Come on. What's wrong with my chat? There he goes. Where are we at? Where were we at? Albert Lamb, thank you. Really like your video. Thank you for dropping by and telling me that. Thank you. Ah, Priscilla, yay, I get to see you. Make sure you come up and say hi, because I kind of recognize you. I don't know. You know, when you see people in person, they look different. Well, most people do, so. Elevated Gaming, is the wall start method effective? Yes, if you follow the wall start method in the way it's supposed to be followed, it's effective. It works. But like any other method that works for other people that you want to follow, will work if you follow it. A lot of people trying to say, well, I tried a wall start method, but I did it this way. And I'm like, then that's not the wall start method. Then obviously that's why it didn't work. If you want to get the same effect by using a method that someone's done, then you have to stick with the method. Otherwise, it wouldn't be the wall start method. But yeah, it's effective. It works. You just have to follow it. Now, whether or not I believe in wall start method, sure. I just don't like it that I'm not doing water changes. I want to do water changes. That's one of the things I want to do with my tanks. You know, water change is just part of it. Oh, there's another skate meet this Sunday? That's right. I don't know if I can go. Fortunately, I don't think I can go on the skate meet this Sunday, Ryan. I got work to do. Gotta get the moolah. I feel Joey's shirts are pretty confusing. Only people who knows about arowana can identify. Looks so kind of complicated. Do you agree? No, I don't agree. I actually love his shirts. I like the arowana shirt. It looks pretty cool. But then, you know, his thing is that is one of the things that he's recognized by is arowana. So I don't know why you're doing it all caps like that. Jimmy G, thank you very much. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for letting me know. Should I use fluval stratum for low tech? I've only used fluval stratum once. I'm gonna tell this to tell everyone, and from what other people told me. Problem with fluval stratum is it's light, right? So if you try to plant in the fluval stratum, your plants might dislodge really easily. So that's the only reason why I wouldn't use a fluval stratum. Otherwise, yeah, sure, it works. You just gotta dose your tank. Aqua Neat Light. I've heard of those, but I never used them. So it's tough advising people on good lighting. It is, but the tougher part is having them understand the lighting, because there's so much talk out there that confuses them. Differences between spectrum, color, temperature, lux, par, and all that stuff. There's half where it only measures, the measurement's only good for us humans, and there's the second part where the measurement is based only on plant growth, right? Par is different from lux. Lux has nothing to do with plant growth, but par has everything to do with plant growth, you know, that kind of thing. So it's very hard in the way that trying to pick people out of what they've heard about and try to tell them this is how you figure it out, you know. Unfortunately, we're using human standards to measure things because that's how it has been in the hobby. But with the advent of new tech and stuff, we're starting to get the measurements of par rating and all that stuff, and good spectrum ratings and stuff like that, because the companies are starting to understand it as well. So it's just not about building a good fixture, but building a good fixture that holds the ball, that has the correct spectrum, that has the correct par rating and stuff like that, based on what you're trying to grow. Honestly, I don't know why Joey does that. George Farmer aquascaping and Joey aquascaping are two different types of aquascaping. It's not a match. You know what I'm saying? George Farmer versus what's his name? Finley, Tom Finley. Is Tom Finley? Tom Finley of Green Machine. That would be a nice good scape off, you know. But yeah, it's a little unfair, I think, in the way that when you look at a George Farmer aquascape versus a Joey aquascape, they're two different types of aquascaping. One is aquascaping with massive plants and stuff, and Joey doesn't do that. He doesn't aquascape with plants, right? He aquascapes with hardscapes mostly. So it's kind of hard unless you start telling George not to use plants, only use hardscapes. or telling Joey that you have to use a plant because it's a plant aquascape. So otherwise, it's kind of weird. It's a weird escape off kind of thing going on. So just trim it. You have to pull the heck out of it. In my tank, I'm telling you, it grows like crazy. Again, I will take a picture of it. Have I taken a picture of it, guys? I don't remember if I shared it or not. You know what? Let me see. Where would it be? My Instagram? 1 second. Nope. How do you use Instagram? I can't use Instagram. So I barely even use this thing. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Can I do that? No, I can't do that because Instagram's a piece of shit. Alright, see that. You see that? It's worse now. It's even worse. It's like a lot taller. It's reaching up to the top of the tank right now. All my rasboras and all my rummy nose, you can't see them because they're hiding behind where there's a open patch of place where they can swim. So they're hiding over there because they can't swim out in the front. So that's dwarf sag, guys. That's if you have like FERT up the yin yang, lighting up the yin yang, and CO2 up the yin yang. That's what happens to dwarf sag. It overtakes your tank, it kills, and it outroots everything. It uproots all my other plants. It's driving me nuts. So it will take over if you actually let it just grow wild and have a lot of, FERT, CO2, and lighting. Now, if you look at the dwarf sag in my office tank, that it's really low light, no CO2. The only FERT in there is that I put soil in it, and I don't even touch the tank anymore. Let me see if I can find it. Because I actually did a picture of it somewhere. Here it is. How would I do that? Sorry, guys. Let me get this out here. Alright, so you see it here. You see that? That's dwarf sag without tons of stuff in it. Oops, sorry. But you see it's stringy. It's patchy. It's barely there. Right? Versus the other picture you saw. Okay, so if you don't have that high-tech stuff in your tank, dwarf sag will actually do okay. It won't overgrow your tank and do all that stuff that you're hearing me bitch about, right? But again, if you give it all that FERT, all the CO2, all the lighting, then you're gonna get overgrowth, massive overgrowth. Hey, Ryan Faze, welcome to the chat. Quick question: is one aquascape by Fluval enough for plants in a 37 gallons, or should I get 2 of the lights? Oh, it depends on the plants you're growing. If it's a low light planted tank, yeah, one aquascape should do fine. Aqua print a single full spectrum LED is pink. Okay. Yeah, you say you might be explaining, kinda, in a way. Yeah, that's a longer conversation. Luke Murray, man, yes, I love betta fish. I'm actually going to do a betta tank soon, assuming if I move or not. But I am looking for a rosetail betta to match with the aquascape. Now, if you guys remember, I buy fish depending on my aquascape. So my aquascape decorates my planted tank. That's how it works for me. Yeah, just back to Aqua Apprentice. What you said here makes sense, and it is kind of the way to go. But it's such a long conversation to get into that I don't think it's going to be a very long, boring conversation, honestly. But you're right. In a way, the following of the logic you think is right. It's just it needs some correction there, here and there. Flamingo full spectrum LED is pink. Kinda. And it depends. Again, one of those hard things to explain. I have 4 tanks with crypts. The one in 10-gallon with one in the grow is going the best. Awesome. And again, it's a 10-gallon tank. What are the other ones in? You gotta compare it. If you're saying, if they're all in 10-gallon tanks with different lighting, then that would be a good measurement. But if you have one in a 20-gallon tank with a different height, then you're talking something different now. Priscilla, blue triggers algae. I have to look into that. And we're talking about blue spectrum, not blue moonlights. The only reason why I'm saying that is because there was a conversation going. Someone asked about moonlights, and someone then said the blue spectrum will cause algae. And then I'm like, well, moonlight and blue spectrum is 2 completely different things. Most of the time, the moonlight settings on in a lighting kit really is just blue with lighting with blue coloring. So it's not really a spectrum light. It depends on the lighting itself. But does blue trigger algae? Probably, most likely. I'll have to do more research on it. But so does red spectrum and so does green spectrum if you give enough of it. So, again. Yep, it was not a sneeze. I don't know. More of a cough, maybe. Jimmy G, I'm going to be setting up a standard 30-inch, 29-gallon tank next week. I have Fluval 3.0 fixtures, but it's only 24-inch. You think the tank will look dim on the sides? 20. Nah, I think you'll be okay. You should be okay. It might look a little dim on the sides, but the only way to tell is just to put it on and try it. 24-inch, meaning that you're going to get about 3 inches of space on each side. You might be okay. I don't know. Put it on, see how it works. It really depends on the spread on the Fluval 3.0. The spread on the Fluval 3.0 is pretty good, so you might be okay. Argument is, I have to argue with you on that. I think what's more important is getting the balance right between lighting, CO2, and fertilization. And I consider good substrate fertilization. Okay? And depending on how you are fertilizing or giving or outputting the fertilization in your substrate. Oh, for what? Oh, I see what you're saying. How tall is tall, though? 37 gallon. I say just try it. And if it's not enough, put another fixture on it then. Would you recommend highlighting for do-it-yourself CO2? No. I recommend the correct lighting for the correct amount of CO2. Alright? That you're pumping in your tank. Right? Opposed as well compared to how much fert you're putting in your tank. So there's 3 things that you have to pay attention to in a plant tank. Ferts, CO2, and lighting. If you opt to not put in CO2, then you have to kind of compensate with lower lighting and a regimen of dosing your tank correctly so you're not overdosing ferts. Okay, it's all a balancing act. And a lot of people always say do you recommend highlighting for CO2 or ferts or whatever? I recommend you just fucking learn how to balance your goddamn tank. Okay? And that means learning all 3 aspects of it. Lighting, CO2, and fert, which CO2 kind of fits into fert because CO2 is carbon, which is a fertilizer for your plants. Alright? So again, you just have to balance all that out. Now, will do-it-yourself CO2 work for highlighting? I think that's what you're asking me. Yeah. Assuming that you can get enough of the do-it-yourself CO2 in your tank, which you can, okay? But you just have to match your CO2 output to your higher lighting. But if you can't, then that's when you start adjusting your lighting, okay? Make sure you do not forget about ferting your tank. Which place are you from? I'm in LA, if that's what you're asking. Try several. I like Tropica. Nice. Again, another thought. I just love soil. Soil works so good. The only time I probably won't use soil is if I'm doing a Dutch style tank, because I'm going to be moving plants around so much that soil is going to make a huge mess. I mean, like lots. I'll move plants a lot on a Dutch style tank. So that's why I would opt for probably really thin layer of soil, capped with something like Echo Complete. And yeah, I don't mind Echo Complete. People always say it's bad. It's really not bad. I think people are just, a lot of people like to be, I don't know, it's not a bad thing, but be self-important about things that they love doing, right? And then so they'll go off on a tangent trying to make something sound a lot worse than it really is, right? I have no problems with Echo Complete, assuming that I have some way to feed the CC of that Echo Complete with FERT, so that it could actually, so the plants could actually use the FERT in that CC value of the Echo Complete. And one of the good ways of doing that is just laying a thin layer of soil where there's lots of FERTs coming from it, a lot of nutrients coming from it, so that an Echo Complete could use that nutrients to hold into in their substrate to give to the plant. So it's kind of like a self-timed release system for the nutrients that it's getting from the soil underneath. That's just one way to do it. So it's all these things that I like trying, I like messing with, just to make it work. Should I take out my dwarf set? Not if it's not giving you a headache. If you like it the way it is, keep it. Look, if it's not overgrowing, or if it is overgrowing and you're trimming it and pulling out any extras, then you're fine. I'm just lazy, and my plants grow so freaking fast in that tank. Well, they grow freaking fast in all my tanks, but because of the way I have it set up, it grows so freaking fast that I get lazy of needing to pull out dwarf sag every other 3 days because it's outgrowing everything else in my tank. So the best thing for me to do is to take it out completely and get a different carpeting plant that won't grow as fast. During my tank account with stratum. Good idea, no. Is it working for you? If it's working for you, good idea. If no, then I'm sorry to hear that. But it worked fine, just because the stratum holding the nutrients from the soil that you're capping on top. So you'll be fine there. It's just the problem with stratum is it's so light that a lot of people complain about it. The shoveling the plant. The plants will just float away and stuff like that. But once it digs in, it grows in, you should be okay. Again, a lot of people have that complaint about stratum, but that's the only thing they have a complaint about. My complaint is that it's light, and it's a little overpriced, I think. Yeah, see, like Aquaman has no problem planting in it, but some of other people might have, again, what are you planting in it too, right? Maybe a lot of us have like those type of plants that would float away easier because it's so frilly or fuzzy, or we're planting like ready grown plant that's already bushy that will just float away on a whim, right? Kind of thing. So again, it's everyone's experience with what they got. That's the hard part of it. My dwarf sag does not grow when the lights are on. I don't know what's wrong with your dwarf sag, but my dwarf sags grow even with no light on the tank. If you watch some of my videos, you'll know that I turn off the light on my Uwigumi when I let it go. And there was dwarf sag in it. And so the only light it was getting was from only the time when I had my lights turned on in the living room, which is rare because I'm always working in my office. And the dwarf sag kept growing. I don't know why it was doing that. It just kept, I was just like, this is some zombie plants or something. I don't know what's up with it. What's a good mid-ground plant to replace with dwarf sag? Lobelia, if you let it grow into mid-ground plant size. AR, if you keep it trimmed as mid-ground, looks really pretty cool. Anubias, Boost, whatever, depending on what you put in and stuff. Good mid-ground plants. Cryptochlorines, stuff like that. I spent too much money on my tank to throw it all away by using dirt in my tank. That's my opinion of dirt, but if you want to do it in low budget, it's probably worth going. I do all my tanks with dirt, or even high budget tanks. You know, that's the thing. For me, it's worth everything. Whether you're doing low tech or high tech or mid tech, whatever. Soil works so well and it lasts so long that for me to change, it's going to be hard for me. Now, I wasn't like this a long time ago. A long time ago, I always thought soil was a bad thing. It was messy, blah, 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 whatever. So after talking with Dustin, I talked to him when he was down here in Reef Palooza, talked to him about a lot of stuff. I'm like, let's give soil a try, and then I never went back. I put soil in, and I was like, holy crap, this stuff is freaking awesome. And it lasts a while. I mean, my soil tanks are still going. It's just like, it's going more than ADA aqua soil and any other stuff. You know, so soil is really going to be hard for me to switch away from. The dirt might leak. Well, the dirt, only reason the dirt will leak through is if you pull it out from the roots. And if it does, it'll just sink back into your stratum. I wouldn't worry about it. Welcome to the live chat, 186 Element. Good to see you on that board. Uncle Prentice, see you later. Have a good night. John Smith, I run CO2, use Phoenix 24/7 CC light and dirted with stratum. Think I'll get a jungle. Yeah, you could. Well, I don't know what your FERT dosing is, what your dosing regimen is. But you might not even need dosing because of it being dirted. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. You probably will. How big is your tank? You know. Nothing, man. The starter guide series gave me the best advice I ever had, which is stop thinking and researching, and just buy a tank and do some plants and get started. Yeah, that's what a lot of people need to do. I mean, research is important, but there is a limit to like just sitting there researching all like forever and then not ever starting a tank. You know, a lot of people. You know, I talked to a lot of people and they were asking me questions, and I'm like, well, how long have you been like looking up information about starting a plant tank and stuff? They'll tell me like months. I'm like, months? What are you doing? Just start a damn tank. You know, do whatever you need to do to get the research to get you started. And then do it. Jump in, and that's where you're going to learn. I FERT the water column with Flourish too very well. Yeah, Flourish will get you the micro elements. I mean, if you want a full regimen, you want to be able to dose the 3 macros: Flourish, potassium. I'm sorry, the potassium, phosphorus, and nitrogen. Right? If you're going the Flourish way, or if you're going the CChem way, you'll need those 3 bottles too. Yes and no. At first, it's going to be tricky. But once you understand how it works, it is very easy to do. But then, it didn't take me long to figure stuff out. So, you got to just keep at it. So for some people, you figure it out right away. Some people, it takes a little longer to figure out. But once you understand it, it's very easy. So you just got to keep at it and don't give up. Hey, Chair77, welcome. Chatting along, welcome. What's the best and easiest carpeting plant? Monte Carlo, dwarf hairgrass. Those 2 are very, very pretty easy to do. You're watching live in your car early in the morning. Oh, you must be like across the world or something. Jeez. Oh, don't crash, man. Don't crash. Yeah, that is a very good point. You have 10 escape tanks and no 2 react the same. Nope, same with me. There's always something different about it, no matter if I use the same equipment, have the same dosing regimen, have the same thing in it. There's always something different about it that you have to adjust. I have high iron in my well water. Will it nuke it might nuke your livestock more than your aquarium plants. I don't know why you have high iron. It's well water. I think you might be okay. The only thing is just to try it, but you might have to just go RO. I mean, I don't know how high is high. of iron in water. Usually, aquarium plants will be okay with high iron, but if it's too much iron, the plants won't like it. It'd be too much. How often do you change the soil? I don't. Yeah, I just leave it in the tank until I decide to like do something else with the tank. A lot of people have said they've lasted 7 years. It's still going. Some people say 2 years. For me, I've never lasted more than 2 years because I will get bored of the tank and reboot it and do something else with it. I might rescape the whole thing and change out the whole soil. See, that's the thing with me. It's like, oh, I'm going to rescape this tank. And that to me means that I want to switch everything out. You know, change out the soil, change out the cap, change out, different hardscapes, different plants. I'll often do that. Or I'll use the same plants from different tanks, or, it depends on what I want to do with it. But I'm a finicky guy, and soil has been always lasting me until the life of the tank until I decide to change it. Devon, after everything you taught me, my 10-gallon tank is finally a success. The duckweed has taken over and my plants are growing strong. All the string algae has died out and there are no algae in the tank. Yay, you got the balance. I'm not sure if having a lot of duckweed is a balance, but I guess that works, right? When using fluorite, what do you suggest? What do I suggest with what when using fluorite? Not quite sure. What do you mean? When you're using fluorite, what do I suggest about what? Using plants or what? You use any plants with fluorite. I would suggest you dose your tank though, because fluorite is not rich in nutrients. Fluorite, just hard. What do I think about fluorite? And I say this in all my videos, is that fluorite is dirty. Alright? I hate it because it's dirty. I use fluorite in my Dutch tank, the 20-gallon long Dutch tank that you guys seen videos of. And I hate it because it's dirty, right? I cleaned the crap out of that before I set up the tank, and it was still dirty, all right? But it works, okay? Fluoride is not rich in nutrients, so you have to dose your tank. But I was EI dosing that Dutch style tank, and it worked fine. It's fine. I capped it. What I did was use Echo Complete and capped it with Fluor Sand, which all it did was make the sand sink into the Echo Complete. And just mix in with it. So all I really had was just a substrate, right? With no nutrient-rich substrate. So I had to dose the tank. And I was dosing with EI dosing anyways. So just what I don't understand what you mean there. Balance is the key. Remember that, as Tevon says here. Everything is perfectly balanced as all things should be. Exactly. Yes, dwarf sand is secretly my favorite plant. Bleh. Past the dirt road. You're such a dick. Yeah, Dormskate says he uses he has HC and Stratum on his 10. He does really well. So, again, up to your own experience. If it works well for you, go for it. I don't usually use Stratum. I used it once, so not enough experience other than people telling me what they had experience with. A lot of it has to do with people telling me what they had their experience in with, certain substrates, lighting, or whatever. And usually I just go by that. And just knowing this, you kind of figure out what's bullshit, what isn't, kind of thing. So when they tell you this, they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But then they'll tell you this other thing, and like, oh, that's BS. I know you're making that up, kind of thing. But I'll go with it, kind of thing. So after a while, you just kind of have to, right, pick out the right information and then go with that. Yeah, there's no logic to something. Sometimes people say it's easy, and then, like Kabamba, I had the hardest time growing it in my Dutch style, 20 long. I couldn't figure out why. But when I planted it in my 40-gallon breeder, the same stems and everything, I took it out of my 20-gallon long, which had all the ferts, highlighting, and CO2. But in the 40-gallon, which had highlighting, ferts, and CO2, it just grew out of control there. So I didn't understand why it was so much different. It just should have grown in the 20-gallon long Dutch style if it was growing in the 40 breeder style, Dutch style. So it's kind of weird. So things can be so finicky sometimes. Chocolate milk water for the, yeah, that does happen. A couple of days for me. For the fluorite. I'm sorry, I was reading what Pastor wrote. He said the reason he asked is because fluorite is a very messy substrate. You can rinse it for hours and still have chocolate milk water for days. Yeah, you know, someone said brand name. Yeah, they do because it's a brand. Let's talk about this a little bit. Terra 77, brand names make this hobby expensive. Yeah, because it's a brand name. Now, in saying that, it doesn't have to be expensive. I could do really good tanks on the cheap, very cheap. The quarter of the price of having a brand name setup, right? Again, it's all how, you know, a lot of people like the brand names. A lot of people like the what is it? No iron glass tanks, rimless tanks, and all that stuff, because it makes the plant with the aquascape look prettier. But if you can make it already look pretty, maybe you don't need that expensive, you know, rimless tank without the iron in it or whatever, like, you know, all that kind of stuff. Again, really, it depends on what you're trying to do with it. But yeah, you can go really cheap. I've done it before, really cheap, and still extraordinary, beautiful growth. Again, it also depends on skill. If you're able to do it, do it. Some people are so skilled at doing this, have such a great understanding about how plants grow in fish tank, in aquariums, and how to aquascape certain things, that no matter what they do, it's just gonna look good. Just hard, I have questions for you. I'm planning to use 2 Zist filter and a sponge filter for my low-tech tank, 90-gallon tank. Okay, I don't know what the question is. I've never used this filter, so I couldn't tell you. If it's a good, bad, I don't know. I don't know what the question is. Experimenting is also sub tank without fish to find out. Oh, I do that all the time. A lot of people are like, when are you going to put fish in your tank? I go, I don't know until I feel like it. Until I'm finished playing around with the plants. Fluorite keeps the nutrients. It keeps the nutrient as in it has CEC value. It doesn't actually have nutrients in itself other than the trace elements. How many water changes should I do the first 2 weeks of a planted tank aquarium? Are you talking about cycling? You don't. Well, you don't have to, but you don't want to change water during cycling. I think if that's what you mean. Otherwise, a planted tank is the same as any fish tank. Let it cycle and then do your water changes when the nitrates are up. Clay keeps the trace nutrients. Trace nutrients. Remember, trace nutrient as the base. Very trace elements. Not even all the trace elements are in clay. A lot of it, though, and some of it is in there, but not all of it. That's why you still have to dose your tank on some of those clay-based substrates. Any thoughts of using insects during a dry start like you would in a terrarium? Things like springtails and black worms. I would suggest it because you're going to flood that, and then all you're going to get is lots of, you know, death, ammonia death. Probably ammonia spike if you keep it like that. I don't know. I personally don't want to put anything like that stuff in my tank. When I flood it, I don't know what's going to do to the livestock. It might work, it might not. I just never tried it myself. On a terrarium, though? Oh, would you do in a terrarium? Oh, in a terrarium, yeah. Totally. Use springtails, use blackworms, have them shuffle through the soil and everything like that to keep your soil not rot. But yeah, definitely. If I did a terrarium with live soil, I would have to get springtails and blackworms. I would definitely want to do that. Are seeds better for growing plants? Not always. I am doing a series on seeds. I'm actually doing a series, depending on when I move, series on a dry start with soil, sand cap, with seeds. All right, I'm actually going to just mix the whole thing and then just do it, so you guys get a good understanding of how I would do it. Only because I get asked about it all the time. Not all seeds are good. I actually have a video that I've been working on. I was talking to one of the guys that I met at the skate meet. He has seeds. He done it. He showed me pictures of his tank, Glossos, I believe, where he grew them from dry start that he learned from my channel, and then grew it from using seeds. Where did he send it to me? Let me see if I have it. Okay. So this is... Alright, that's for dry starting from seeds. Glossostigmas. Alright, so he did it successfully, and then we went over it. He gave me a pack of seeds that he used. Also, I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to do a series on that. See how well it works. Hey, Q Aquatics, how you doing, babe? Good to see you on board. David Rentana, bow front style tank. How aqua can you organize tank? Just do it aqua style. It's just a bow front. It's just a bow front style tank, and otherwise, you still follow all the same rules for an Iwagumi style tank. Any opinions on using Easy Green for? It's a good all-in-one fert. Dose as instructed in the bottle. But if you need all-in-one fert, that's a good way to go. Easy Green. The other way I would suggest is using Dustin's fish tank, growth juice, or H2O plants Vital. Those work pretty good too. I had experience with those. Just hard if it was good or bad to do that. Dang it, I don't remember what you were asking. Sorry, there's a lot of questions that goes on. If you want to repeat that in one question, that'd be easier. Yeah, I keep hearing about Zis filters. I haven't looked into them yet. I'm just too busy to look into them. Tevon, I have an extra 10-gallon and I'm planning to breed gourami fish. What kind of filter can I use that won't deserve the water flow that much? Sponge filters. That'll work. Won't disturb too much, especially for breeding fish. That's why a lot of fish breeders use sponge filters. All my terrariums have isopods and springtails. Q Aquatics knows she has a lot of terrariums. Should I dose after tank cycles or should I dose from the start? Assuming that you already have plants in your tank and it's not like if you didn't like soil the tank where you get them the spike at first, then you can go ahead and do it right from the start. Dose your tank from the start. You guys, if you are asking me a question, try to fit it all in one line. if it's easy, because it's really hard to try to catch up. What type of soil should I use? I always, well, you don't have to, but I always say organic potting mix that you get from Home Depot or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's potting mix is the best way to go, I think, in my personal opinion. And anything that doesn't have anything weird in it, it doesn't have to be organic, okay? Anything that doesn't have anything weird, if it has big chunks of wood and stuff, make sure you siphon it out. Okay, but make sure it doesn't have anything that has like pesticides or anything like that in it that will kill your fish. But other than that, any type of soil that has nutrients in it, especially at your planting, aisle of your big box store, should work. Okay, I only say organic a lot because mainly because they don't put weird shit in it, but it doesn't always mean that. It really depends on the brand. It's just that I think organic sometimes is just nowadays it's just a word to get you to pay more, right? But you can go with regular potting soil, potting mix, and just make sure you read the ingredients. Make sure they don't put anything weird in it. There's some potting mix that have water conservative things in it, white pebble things, and a lot of people say they don't siphon it out and it works just fine. So you can go by that. But personally, I would say, well, if you're not feeling lazy, siphon them out and not leave them in there. But other than that, any kind of soil that has nutrients would work. People say topsoil, but I'm not sure topsoil is a really good choice. But some people argue with me on that one, that they use topsoil and work fine. So topsoil could work too, I guess. I don't know. Just read the label. The label tells you what kind of ferts are in it, So, yeah. Dustin says that, shows that. Dustin even uses dirt from his backyard. He knows that it grows plants from it, so. Yeah. ZX Billy says it's very hard to overdose ferts on, but it's easy to underdose. Completely true. If you overdose on ferts, you might get algae blooms, but it shouldn't kill anything. It doesn't kill any plants really, unless it's certain things like iron or aluminum or something. Well, you don't dose aluminum, but things that might have aluminum or whatever in it. Too much iron can be bad, but most of the time, most of the ferts that you can overdose, it won't be a bad thing. EI dosing is all about overdosing your tank, right? EI dosing is dosing macros, micros for the week. Take a break on Saturday, and then do a water change, 50% water change on Sunday to reboot the tank, and then fert again like that in that schedule, and make sure that you're over ferting so you have a lot more fert than the plants can use in your tank. But the way you control the algae from having too much algae from doing that is to do a 50% water change on Sunday every week. Okay, so it's a hard press dosing regimen, right? It's hardcore dosing regimen, but it works very well, and it's made so that anyone could do it. Dummies could do it. Starters, beginners could do it, and it's just made to make it easy for you to do it, and that's what EI dosing is. So yeah, but if you underdose, then your plants won't do well. If you overdose, your plants do fine. You just might get algae. What is this live stream layout? I'm using OBS. And then I have a back-end program I wrote that, checks the live stream. It does trivia and all that stuff. Sorry, just reading your comments. I made a mistake of using a plastic check valve for personalized CO2 being mistake. Yeah, I did that a couple of times too. And then it broke. Bad thing. Try to use something that's either it's nicely made, that's plastic, or you could use metal or something like that, or glass. I'm passing. Like I said, here you go, show browser. What I do is I load up the questions in batches, and then if someone says something that I want to highlight, I just click this, and it goes on to the box here where it gets highlighted on the solo scene right here. So it's just something I've written so that I can keep up with all the questions, because sometimes I guess a lot of people asking so many questions at the same time, it's hard to keep up. So instead of trying to chase the chat screen, I just load up in batches. Worm casting is another thing a lot of people use. That's good. I haven't done it yet myself. I might try sometime soon, sometime this year. So, Joshua Carey, is fluoride sand by Seachem enough for quarries and coolies to shift through their gills? Yeah, it's fine. They shouldn't have a problem with it. Q Aquatics, how are you highlighting the comment? I just showed you. Ha! Yeah, remember, I'm a programmer, so I write things and I interface with the YouTube API and stuff like that. MMMMB! What an awesome name. Hi from London. Love your videos. New here. Glad to see you in the live chat. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for the comment. Help on some algae and nudius petite plant. Notice that growing on the leaves. How to deal with that? You gotta keep your tank balanced, okay? It might be because you're lighting. So you might have to lower your lighting, but I don't know what else you have. Do you dose your tank? Do you use CO2? I need to know that stuff. What about something for surface agitation? Because there shouldn't be that much surface agitation. On what? I use surface agitation all the time, especially if I'm using CO2, and that is something you're going to hear that contradicts a lot of what a lot of people say. But trust me, surface agitation, even if you're using CO2, is very freaking important. Because why? I can put a lot more CO2 in my tank. It sounds weird? Really? Okay, go watch my CO2 series. Okay, and I explain it all in there. So the more CO2 I could be able to put in my tank and not kill my fish, the more CO2 the plants have to use in abundance. And the more CO2 the plants can use in abundance means I'm getting a lot of lighting, getting a lot of fruit so they can grow really, really fast. That's how I get massive growth in a really short time in my tanks. People keep asking me how I do it. I'm like, I'm telling you how I do it. I made videos on it. You guys just have to sit down and just really try to get it. You know, pay attention and get it. Billy makes a good point. The check valves, most are made for water rather than CO2 or pressurized air. So that's why a lot of the check valves will break on you or pop. Road Joe, I would double check your water parameters on that. I'm not much of a breeder, but what I do understand is water parameters is a massive importance when breeding fish. So I check your water parameters, temperature, water hardness, pH. See if any of that would make your fish stop breeding. Thank you, D. Yes, hit that like button. That will always help me. You know what? That is something. What underground gravel filters are actually a good way to pull water into like something like Eco-Complete substrate, so that the nutrients will go through that substrate and get stored in the CC values, right? Unfortunately, I don't know if that's always a good thing. You're also pulling the water into the substrate so that the nutrients will get into the roots of the plants as well. So I think it does work well. It's just an old tech that a lot of people, don't use anymore. I use it, but then, I use a lot of soy, and soy won't work with underground filters. That's the only time it won't work. Are you a fan of jungle valves or water sprites as a background in a background plant in the 10-gallon flex? Well, I'm a fan of jungle valves and water sprites in any tank. So, yes, that will work great. It's easy to grow plants for most people. I always have to add that in there. It's an easy grow plant for most people. Because, just like we mentioned earlier, a lot of people that have easy grow plants can't grow them easily for some reason. Any good movies? Are you asking me, Q? Alright, Pastor Dirt Road, thank you for joining us, man. Take care. Actually, I did watch a good movie last night. It's called The Invention of Lying. It's actually a clever movie. It's Ricky Gervais, and he has a lot of people in that movie. But it was a fun movie. Hey, old hand, welcome. Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, well, I'm about to leave because it's getting late, so I have to get to work in the morning. Blah. Any ideas on AI and automation to control the parameters of the system? Aquarium. You can get a pH controller. There's a lot of like really nifty systems out there that you can look at. The Apex, I think that's what they call it, has a whole system about controlling everything in your tank and stuff. You can look it up on your phone and all that stuff, control stuff through your phone. So yeah, there's stuff like that. That's pretty next level stuff. Good night, Don. Take care. Glad seeing you again. Glad to see you guys. See you again. Got some info on PHK CO2 relationship. Yeah, no, but I don't really want to get into it right now. Also, there's just a lot to it that I want to make into videos, which people have been asking me to, and I will do soon. But most important thing is when you're dealing with CO2 is that for fish wise, when you want to worry about your fish, if they can handle the pH of where it's at right now, you must measure the pH before you put CO2 in your tank. Any drop in pH that your CO2 creates is quote unquote false pH readings, right? It's not really, you're putting carbon in your tank. It's not going to kill your fish. That's what CO2 is doing in your tank. When you do that, it's going to drop the pH. But it's a fake pH in that all the other elements that keep your fish alive is fine. Right? So make sure you just keep that pH reading, pay attention to that pH reading for your fish before you put CO2 in your tank, and then pay attention to your pH reading after CO2 is in your tank for your plants. That makes sense. Okay, again, I have to get more into it to actually make sense. But that's the only thing I can tell you, and it might not be completely correct. Completely before you go, can you still do a plant tank for a turtle? No, I don't know that. I don't keep enough turtles to know. But if I understand it right, especially from Turtle Girl, she says they'll eat the plants. They'll tear it up. So I'm not sure. William, what I would suggest is asking the Turtle Girl. Her channel is the Turtle Girl. She knows a lot about turtles. So and she's really fun to watch too. So check her out. What's the best filtration I should use for my low tech 90? I always use canister filters for a tank that's small. Anything above 100 gallons, again, big canister filter or sumps. Oh, for your gouramis, like I said, use sponge filters. I won't make too much surface agitation with bubbles. You know, just make sure you don't get a pump that pumps too hard and creates a lot of surface agitation. Just get a pump that pumps decently to get the filter working, but not create surface agitation. Thank you, Billy, man. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Bo. Yeah, I'll try to make a video of that. Again, that's a lot of research, and I kind of want to get it right in a way, so I've been holding off on that and kind of just picking at it when I can. But yeah. But anyways, guys, it is getting late. I'm glad you guys join us. Here's one. Johnson, any liquid CO2 tips? Yeah, don't use it. Sorry, I'm not a huge liquid carbon fan, and it's not liquid CO2, it's liquid carbon. All right, and there's a difference. I mentioned this in my CO2 series, but I'm not a fan of it. But that's just me, though. Some people might have, or they say have success in doing it, but I just think they're just doing everything else right. That it's a placebo. It makes it look like the liquid CO2 is doing something right, but I think it's because they're using it as a placebo that they're doing everything else right because they think they're dosing CO2 correctly. Does that make sense? I think I just don't think. I think it's a placebo effect more than anything. I personally hate it. So. Yeah, Dormscape, he's talking about liquid carbon, not liquid CO2, I think. Yeah. Thanks, Jess Hart. Thank you for saying that, and thank you everyone for watching. I love you guys. I'm going to go ahead and shut off now. It's getting late. I need to get sleep and stuff like that. But I love you guys. Hopefully I'll get back to making videos soon. But if not, if you're going to Aquashella in Texas next week, I will hopefully see you there. Don't be afraid to come up and say hi. Talk to me. We can get down and dirty about aquariums or whatever. But I most likely will be at the fish tube booth a lot, helping out there. Because I promised I was going to. Okay, again, love you guys. I will talk at you guys later. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.